Hello and welcome to the Adhvaitha Decoding Reality podcast. In today's episode, I will talk about the consciousness evolution journey. We will look at how consciousness from its unmanifested state manifests itself in infinite number of ways through this universe. This consciousness evolution journey is simply a theory from the perspective of a human mind. With that, let us get into today's episode. First, let us start with the basic premise of Advaita Vedanta. As per the teachings of the ancient Upanishads, consciousness is fundamental. Pure consciousness existed before the creation of the universe, and pure consciousness exists in the form of universe. Technically, the entire universe and all of us are made of the same substance, and that substance is pure consciousness. That pure consciousness has manifested in infinite number of ways through this universe. This is what we need to understand first. So right now we will go deep and understand the evolutionary journey of consciousness. So look at this from an open mind and just think about this as a thought experiment. With that, let us come to the core of this video. At first, before the creation of the universe, pure intelligence or pure consciousness existed by itself. It is an inert state of pure consciousness. There was no manifestation of the universe. There was nothing apart from that pure consciousness. This state is called as Avyakta or the unmanifested state as per the teachings of Vedanta. And this pure consciousness started exploring itself. And to explore itself through the power of Maya, it projected the universe within itself. So the universe that we see all around us was a projection within that pure substance, that pure consciousness. And for the creation of the universe, at first, the 5 Sukshma Panchabhutas were created. These are the 5 subtle elements of space, air, water, fire, and earth. And from these 5 subtle elements, the 5 gross elements, the Pancha Mahabhutas, were created. These are the 5 elements that we can see and feel. The fire, the space, the air, and the earth that we can see and feel. And from these 5 primary elements, the rest of the universe was created. As explained by science, from a single point of origin, through Big Bang or whatever phenomenon, this universe instantly came into being and this universe started expanding. The universe existed in extreme high temperatures in gaseous states at first, and later on the universe started cooling down and different solar systems and different planets came into being. And after the planets and the solar system were stable, water came into existence due to various chemical reactions. And then due to the presence of water, small microbial organisms came into existence. And after this, we all know the story of evolution and natural selection, where complex life forms came into existence on planet Earth. First, there were aquatic beings, then amphibious beings, then animals, birds, and later on human beings. At this point, what we need to realize is that since before the creation of the universe, there was one primary substance, pure consciousness, that existed, whatever was created thereafter can be nothing apart from that pure consciousness alone. That consciousness itself has manifested itself in infinite number of ways through this universe. So that pure consciousness, which is an absolute infinite, explores itself through this universe. And through this universe, we can see the evolution of consciousness, which is the primary substance of the universe. At first, it manifests as inert, inanimate objects like planets and galaxies. Later on, it begins to evolve and it experiences itself through animals, birds, etc. After all this, human beings come into picture. Now, the peculiar thing about the human species is our intellect. We can think about the nature of reality. We can understand this reality for what it is. So, through this faculty of intellect, we can understand this entire existence for what it is. Now, try to imagine this. If there was just one substance, one primary substance, and the entire universe and everything that we see is one single substance, then there cannot be any expansion as such, there cannot be any movement as such, there cannot be anything as such, because if there is only one thing that exists, then there cannot be any experience itself. Because for us to have an experience and for an experience to happen, there needs to be a subject, there needs to be an object, and there needs to be a subject object split. So that consciousness, through its manifestation as the universe, it experiences itself by forgetting what it truly is. And it goes through various experiences as animals, birds, etc. But the human species, as I said earlier, has the capability to understand this and to realize what it truly is. Here, the teachings of Upanishads and Vedanta tell us that me and you can realize who we truly are. We can understand truly that we are that infinite consciousness within which the universe emerged in the first place. So we are not technically these simple, limited, individual beings with a body and mind. Instead, we are that infinite consciousness that gave rise to this universe in order to experience itself and in order to experience the world. This is what we need to understand. So let us quickly go through the evolution of consciousness from the beginning. At first, pure consciousness existed all by itself. This is the state of non-manifestation, the state of Adhvaitha or the unmanifested state. After this, the pure consciousness starts exploring itself through the manifested universe. This is the state of Vyakta or the manifested state. Initially, the 5 subtle elements, Panchabhutas, are created, and through the interplay of these 5 primary elements, the rest of the universe is created. And the universe slowly begins to evolve. It starts expanding, and various planets, solar systems, etc. come into being. And after this, within a planet, living organisms come into picture. And then, through the process of evolution and natural selection, complex organisms come into existence. After a certain amount of time, human beings come into picture, and human beings, through the process of enlightenment, can realize the nature of reality and realize themselves to be that infinite consciousness, thus completing the cycle of the evolution of consciousness. This is an apparent cycle through which the universe goes. And through the process of enlightenment, that pure consciousness which gave rise to this universe will realize itself for what it is. Now, what is enlightenment? Enlightenment and the process of enlightenment is elaborately explained in various Vedantic texts and various works of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Basically, enlightenment is the process of disidentification with our body and our minds, and recognizing and acknowledging our true nature for what it is and experiencing ourself for what it is. This is enlightenment. Most of us right now have identified ourselves with our bodies and our minds. So we think that we are our body and our mind. This is in reality not true. We are that infinite consciousness that started the journey before the creation of the universe. And we are that infinite consciousness in which the universe has emerged. And once we realize that, we will come out of the limited identification and we will complete the cycle of evolution of consciousness. So, this is the most important difference between any other animal or a bird and a human being. We can recognize and realize the nature of this reality and the nature of self. And this is a pursuit in which all of us must be interested in, and this is a pursuit in which all of us should be in. I hope this was valuable to you. If you want to go deeper to understand these concepts and to consciously create your life the way you truly want to live, then check out our community learning platform, the Adhvaitha Conscious Society. You can find more information on this by visiting adhvaitha.com.